Final segment with Aidan Monaghan. Aidan, I want to talk about how they try to shape the argument, as in the debunkers and the establishment. For instance, when you watched this hit piece that National Geographic just did, they make the claim that truthers say that fire can't deform steel. Now, have you heard one quote-unquote person who's involved in 9/11 Truth ever say that fire can't deform steel? Obviously, that's not the argument, correct?
No, I don't think so.
I can't imagine one truther saying that either. But what they don't want to tell you is, no, we're pointing to the fact that James Baker Sky of FEMA on 9/15 said there were temperatures of 2,700 degrees there. We're going by the fact that the firefighters talked about a lava-like substance flowing down the channel rails. We're talking about Ken Holden of FEMA testifying before NIST that there was molten metal dripping from Building 6. This is the molten metal that we're talking about. And then you watch the video of the now infamous video of the molten metal pouring from the World Trade Center, and the debunkers still try to claim that this is aluminum from the plane when Stephen Jones has done the experimentation and thoroughly disproven this.
Right. Boeing aircraft were not manufactured out of nano aluminum.
Exactly. You know, and again, I'm watching this National Geographic piece, and the guy's like, well, that's aluminum from the plane reacting with something. No, that's not how it works. You need just the right amount of aluminum and other materials in order to create thermite. It didn't accidentally happen in that corner where it flowed down literally out of like a foundry. You could see it. It was going down 20, 40, 60 floors before it was actually dissipating. This is insane to me.
Sure, and one of the byproducts of a thermitic reaction is the white smoke known as aluminum oxide, and Tower 2 was spewing white smoke in the minutes before it finally fell, either from the bottom or from various points as the building was collapsing. There's so much evidence supporting the thermite hypothesis, and it's never addressed responsibly. And once again, as I was saying, the official story is nothing but an unproven allegation. Long story short.
No, you're absolutely correct. You know, one of the other things that the debunkers were trying to say is they took an I-beam that I could lift up with my hands and tried to compare it to a steel beam that was used in the World Trade Center, which is laughable in the first place. And then there's no fireproofing on it. And they make the claim that all the fireproofing was knocked off the beams in the tower when the planes hit. Well, that just cannot be the case. Maybe some of the fireproofing was knocked off some of the beams, but obviously, it didn't happen throughout the building. Yet, when you look at this pile of rubble, none of these steel girders seem to have any of the fireproofing still on them. I wonder how that could happen without explosives. Kind of boggles the mind, doesn't it?
It does. And also, what I found rather dubious in the Nat Geo documentary was the demolition expert, quote-unquote, who claimed that nothing was ever found physically that would tie a controlled demolition to the collapses of the buildings. There were millions and millions of pounds of wreckage after the buildings fell. I doubt that anyone could distinguish detonating devices from ordinary cabling, wire, electronics that also fell to the ground when the buildings collapsed. And to suggest that one should have or could have is rather dubious, in my opinion. Absurd, even.
Absolutely, and then they'll sit there and try to say that there's no evidence, and then they won't even address Building 7 at all. It's like Building 7 doesn't exist. I hope you show it in the special, and then they show the video of it, and then that's enough. They addressed it. No, you didn't address how a 47-story skyscraper fell into its own footprint, just like two 110-story skyscrapers just before it. Aidan, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back taking your calls. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas, 888-201-2244. We are back. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas, 6 to 9 every Sunday, only at Infowars.com and streaming video live over at prisonplanet.tv. Get a membership today. Just a ton of great material on there. All of Alex Jones's pictures, my pictures, available for download, and then you can burn them to discs and really help to awake the masses. Nothing works like a video, folks. It's just that simple. Most people don't read anymore. It's a sad state of affairs, but it is the American iPhone culture. I promise you that. Let's read some of this. Lashing out at the Capitol. Tens of thousands of conservative protesters, many complaining that the nation is racing toward socialism, massed outside the U.S. Capitol on Saturday. Now let's take a look at this. Right here, it says up to 2 million. Big difference, huh? Tens of thousands, which doesn't even reach 100,000, would be 100,000 would be 1/20th of what they're reporting in the UK. See, they are trying to minimize it, and then they're trying to marginalize people's participation by throwing them into the conservative or liberal arenas. See? Tens of thousands conservative protesters. So you can't be a constitutionalist. You can't be somebody that believes in the Bill of Rights and freedom of speech. You have to be pigeonholed as a conservative. When I guarantee, we had some callers who were there. They're not conservatives, folks. They just believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, a free humanity, less government. That doesn't mean you're a conservative. In fact, there are really no conservatives that are in the Republican Party at this point, maybe outside of Ron Paul. Let's see. On a windy, overcast afternoon, hundreds of yellow "Don't Tread on Me" flags flapped in the breeze. See, now it's hip to have the "Don't Tread on Me" flag because MIAC has been exposed to the general public. That's the reports that demonize, troops coming home as terrorists, people that have Ron Paul bumper stickers as terrorists, people that hand out Zeitgeist as terrorists, people that believe in a quote-unquote New World Order, even though New World Order is in multiple headlines across the country as we speak today, this week. And it's what Gordon Brown has talked about. Tony Blair, George Bush Sr., Richard Nixon, FDR spoke of a New World Order. Hitler promoted a New World Order. H.G. Wells, Carol Quigley, so many others. But no, it doesn't exist. Unless you're for it. And then, of course, it exists. Then we'll announce it to you. And when we can't just announce it to you, we're going to acclimate you through comic books of hot chicks. Yeah, that's right here. Striptease meets comic strip as Agent Provocateur campaigns. Agent Provocateur. I mean, could it be more in your face? Agent Provocateur is putting out the sexy New World Order comic books? Come on, people. Wake up. There's coffee brewing in your living room. That's what that smell is. And, of course, you had some Republicans out there grandstanding right here. You will not spend the money of our children and grandchildren to feed an overstuffed government, Representative Tom Price out of Georgia said. And, of course, you got so many people applauding. But to me, this is just more WWE nonsense. It's much like the speech that Obama gave where people stood up and started, you're a liar, and then they're going to retract it, or the boo, boo. Meanwhile, this legislation just gets farther and farther down the line, and the agenda goes through and through and through. And yes, they'll throw a conservative face in the White House next, more than likely, but you're going to get the same results. Notice Obama has thwarted a lot of the anger towards the war in the Middle East. These people weren't necessarily anti-war protesters. They were protesting the legislation that's in the House. The smarter people that were there, that were handing out probably Obama deceptions, they're anti-war. They get it. We're taking your calls on all topics. It's 888-201-2244. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. We're going to go over more of this article here and really how they're trying to marginalize how many people are there and then control the paradigm in which they showed up. And much, much more back after this.